Welcome to the Cult of Domesticity podcast, a podcast about history, true crime, and whatever life brings us. I'm Courtney, and every week I am joined by another fascinating person. Let's see what we're going to talk about this week.
Welcome back, devotees, and we're back with Emily.
Hello.
And this time it's your turn to tell a story.
Yeah. And I wanted to talk about an experience that I had with a ghost. It's actually a pretty long story because I want to start all the way at the beginning and some cool stuff happened afterwards.
When you were born. Okay, let's go back to your life story.
Yeah, all the way back to when I was born. It was a beautiful day.
I don't remember it. I've just been told.
Last summer, which it feels weird to say last summer because it feels like it was like 10 seconds ago. But last summer, I went to the UK on a trip with my family. And it was really, really nice because I have been out of the country before, but I went to the Netherlands when I was like 2, but I don't remember because I was like 2. And the rest of the time, I just went to like Canada. So, it was exciting. And we went on a little like circle around. We started in London and then we went up to Edinburgh in Scotland and then down to Ireland and then down to Wales and back to London. It was really nice. It was like 2 weeks. But so while we were here, specifically while we were in Edinburgh, I saw a ghost.
Ooh.
I want to preface this by saying my mom, I know her podcast, Ignorance Was Bliss, she's done a couple episodes on ghosts, and I know that she said her stance has been sort of like hemming and hawing, like she doesn't really believe in ghosts, but she's definitely had some experiences that she doesn't, like she can't explain, sort of. And I am on that same level, I guess. Like, I don't know. To say that you believe in ghosts is such like a large announcement to make, sort of, that it's strange. But so I just want to say that like I'm not sold that this was a ghost. This totally could have been jet lag fucked me up for like a week.
I heard the story.
This totally could have been like a jet lag. Oh yeah, I puked in an Uber in London. Fun fact. The driver was Russian and he was very, very nice. He gave me his water bottle and I apologized approximately 7,000 times. But yeah, jet lag really messed with me. And so this totally could have been like a jet lag, sleep paralysis freak incident. And I would accept that. I would also accept that it was just like a weird dream that I had. But I don't think so, and there's a couple reasons, so I'll get into it. So, this started the evening... Well, okay. See, the timeline's weird, because the second we got to... we stayed in a bunch of Airbnbs, and the second we got to the one in Edinburgh, we all crashed, because we were still tired.
Yeah, that's what traveling across an ocean will do.
Oh, God, yeah. Dude, I've never been that, like, zonked in my life. It was crazy. But so, I took, like, a 2-hour nap immediately. And during this time, someone came and knocked on the door, and it was a really weird, confrontation that my dad had. He went to the door, and this woman was there, and she looked really concerned. And my dad was kind of like, hey, what's going on? And she was like, where's Jenny? I need to speak to Jenny. And my dad was like, so hey, we don't live here, first of all. We're from America. We're Airbnb. So, this is awkward. But he was like, also, I don't think Jenny lives here. Like, we knew the guy who gave us, we didn't know him personally, but obviously you do some research on the Airbnb owners before you stay in their house.
Because otherwise it's creepy. They could have murdered you and gotten rid of your bodies. No one would know you're in Europe.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And, like, passports sell for a lot, so they totally could have, like...
Oh, you have a prime passport. You have an American passport. That's high commodity.
Yeah. And it was new, too. So, like,
ooh,
my dad's suspicious. But he's like... A guy lives here. It's like a flat. It's like a one-person apartment. And he was like, there's a guy that lives here, but there's no, like, There's no one named Jenny. We don't know of a Jenny here.
Yeah.
And the woman was like, the way he described it, obviously I wasn't there because I was asleep, but he described her as seeming like really, like, just concerned and like frightened almost. Very, like, insistent that she needed to see Jenny, even after he was like, okay, we don't know who Jenny is. So that will come into play later. That is a little tidbit to keep in mind. So later on, we decided to go on one of those haunted bus tours.
I've always wanted to do those.
Oh my god, it was on a double-decker bus, and we got front seats on the top row.
The best seat.
Yeah, so it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was really funny, mostly. I'm not really scared by stuff like that ever. I used to listen to creepypastas to fall asleep when I was younger, so...
That sounds soothing, actually. If you got a good narrator.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes. I love Chills, the narrator. Excellent. Just plug him, quick. But... So, I'm not really freaked out by stuff like that, but I had a lot of fun, and it was really funny. The guy was like... Totally should have been doing stand-up, but it was great. But another important thing to name is that the name Jenny came up yet again. He made a joke about a ghost that supposedly haunted the tour bus, and then they showed like a crappy CGI ghost crawling across the floor. But he specifically said that her name was Jenny. So I still have no knowledge of the fact that my dad had this previous interaction with this woman. But after we got off the bus, my dad was like, hold the fuck up.
What's up with Jenny? Who is Jenny? Where do we find Jenny?
Who is Jenny? Because, like, she said the name Jenny, and earlier this lady, like, freaked out, and, like, I'm worried. But we all kind of, like, laughed at him. We were like, okay, it's nothing. You're fine. But so yeah, we went out and we got dinner and we got ice cream and the rest of the night was pretty normal. So we went to bed that night and...
As you do.
The rooms were, well, unless you're an insomniac fueled by Adderall.
That just sounds like a normal level.
Yeah. Day in the life of an ADHD.
What do you mean I'm not tired now? I did all the things.
What do you mean I haven't slept in a week?
Oh, yeah. What do you mean I've accidentally turned myself nocturnal? That definitely didn't happen in grad school.
Oh my god, that's happening to me currently.
It's hard to fight, because you're just like, I'm fine. And then you fall asleep, and then you keep... It's so...
Oh, you sleep in... Yeah. No, I understand. Anybody out there with ADHD, I understand you're not alone. But... Yeah, so the way that the rooms were set up, I kind of got my own separate bedroom area, because there was like a guest room, there was a main room, and then there was this area out in the kind of living room, dining room combined area where there was a little bed thing next to the window, like a boudet almost. And my brother decided to sleep there for some reason. My parents decided to sleep in the main room, and so I got to sleep in the guest room.
Fair deal.
Which was great because, oh god, it was awesome. That was like one of the only places where I got to sleep alone. But so, I'm alone in this room, but I'm fine. I'm not really even thinking about the ghost tour anymore because I was messaging my girlfriend who is still in America, obviously. So she's eating dinner, and it's probably 10, well... Yeah, no, it was around 11 when I was talking to her. So she's, like, eating dinner. And so I'm going to bed and I'm just, like, checking in with her, like, yeah, okay, I'm going to bed. No, love you. Sorry, I'm far away. Whatever,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I read a little bit of my book and then I went to bed. And it was very normal. Which, I don't know, that makes this whole thing seem stranger to me because I've definitely had some weird dreams and I've definitely had like a couple sleep paralysis experiences before, but they were always preceded by like a weird evening or like a weird feeling.
Yeah.
At least, like an uncomfortable feeling. Listening to something scary or something like that. So, I don't know. But so, that evening, I I fell asleep pretty quick. Don't really remember that, but I remember, okay. I am very good at recognizing when I'm dreaming. I'm pretty good at lucid dreaming, but mostly I'm aware, at least.
Okay.
So, I was having a dream, and it's so hard to describe. I was standing in my living room of my house, and it was really, really dark, and I was talking to somebody very emphatically. I don't know who it was, but I was talking to them very, like, loudly and, like, with passion.
Which is weird, because you're not at your house.
Yeah, no, I'm in the middle of Edinburgh, and I rarely ever dream about my house. I dream about weird shit, you know?
That is fair.
Yeah, no, it was weird, and it totally felt like I was talking to somebody that I knew well, but I don't know who it was. Like, I didn't know back then, either. It's not like I forgot. It felt like I was familiar with somebody that I was talking to, having, like, an in-depth conversation. Not angry, just, like, passionate, and it was so strange. But I realized at some point that I was actually, like, mumbling out loud, and then I was like, oh, I'm dreaming. So I kind of, like, roll over onto my back, and the room is pitch dark.
As it should be.
The bed is kind of, like, in the... yeah, right? The room is kind of in the middle of the bed is kind of in the middle of the room. And so I'm just kind of lying on my back, trying to think about that weird dream, but also kind of drifting back off to sleep, when my phone, which is sitting on the, like, the bedside table,
yeah,
the screen lights up from a message. And I roll over, and there's a woman standing next to my bed.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
You're just like, am I still asleep?
Go ahead. Yeah, so I definitely had that moment of, like, I'm still fucking dreaming. Like, this is not real. And so I kind of shake myself, and no, she is still there.
What does she look like, though? Because, like, I'm just picturing a colonial woman, and I don't know why.
No, definitely not. Very, very strange. So I can see, so obviously if she's standing, this is a kind of a normal height bed, she's standing kind of over me.
Oh, fuck no.
So I have a very clear view of, like, her, like, her dress, like, near the midline, and her hands down by her side, which are kind of in a tense position, and she's like leaning over me almost a little bit.
Like, who are you in my bed?
Kind of like that, yeah. And her hands are like young woman, sort of, not like old creepy woman. I would say 30s.
Okay.
And she's got a flowery sundress on. So not like old creepy ancient ghost, like modern sundress. So with a very clear flower pattern.
So the meme that it's like, why are all ghosts from the 1800s? I want one from, like, 2003. Like, it's Britney, bitch. Yeah. You got the it's Britney, bitch ghost, but she's pissed.
I did. I got the very angry it's Britney, bitch ghost looming over me at 2 a.m. So I'm standing there, and okay, I should also clarify that I kind of went to look up at her face, and it was so weird because obviously the dimensions of the room, it's a normal sized room, like the ceiling is at a normal height, but it feels like I can't see her face because it's like, I don't know how to describe it, like far away.
Maybe she didn't want you to see her face.
Well, definitely didn't want me to see her face, god damn. But like, it felt like it was bending the perspective of the room, like it shouldn't have been able to be far away because the ceiling's right there.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I am immediately freaked out, and I remember saying something to her, sort of to the message of, please don't hurt me. And I kind of instinctively, I totally have that millennial instinct in me where I roll over and I grab my phone and I immediately turn on the flashlight. And she's gone.
That is, I was gonna say, you're either gonna turn on a flashlight or take a picture. Like, there's only two options here. Like, just picturing my friend who always tells me pics or it didn't happen, and I'm notorious for not taking pictures.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I should have tried to take a picture.
You could have got your it's Britney bitch ghost moment.
I totally could have. But, like, I was so weirdly terrified in that moment. Like, it's so hard to explain. It was totally, like, instinctive. Like, my mom kind of explains the sort of psychology brain thing where you go down to, like, the lizard brain when you're nervous, and it's like fight or flight. I wasn't quite there, but I was down near, like, dolphin brain. Like, I was like, hi, I am terrified, and I need to figure out what's going on, because this thing might eat me.
Will you eat me or will you not eat me? I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I haven't decided, but I'm very worried that it's the latter, and, you know. But so I turn on the light, and there's nobody there, and I am freaked the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
It's around 2 a.m., so it was about 9 o'clock in the U.S., and I immediately messaged my girlfriend. I still have those messages. Where I basically just said the same thing that I did now, except with a lot more, like, exclamation points and nervousness.
Fair? That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a Britney bitch ghost in a sundress staring at me menacingly.
Staring at me, yeah. And I was like, yeah, there's just a woman in my room. Like, that was super weird.
Is it bad? I'm now picturing that girl who, like, thought she was crazy and, like, her stuff kept moving, but there was a dude living in her closet.
Oh my god, don't even say that. No, okay, but I know it's not that, because I turned on the light and she wasn't there anymore, but, like,
But what if she's under the bed?
That would be horrifying. Don't say that! Fucking Christ!
You're not there anymore!
Okay, the vision of her was also in, like, grayscale.
Okay.
As well. It's so hard to describe. I should probably draw it, honestly.
She was ghost-like. Got it.
Yes, it was very, like, wispy, like, very stereotypically ghost, which is why I'm suspicious of it being real, because...
You should watch Ghosts of Gettysburg, because that'll give you a good image.
I've seen that. Is that the one, where they're, like, filming the battlefields and there's, like, soldiers roaming around?
Yeah, it's, like, a bunch of ghost stories, and it was filmed in, like, the 80s. Early 90s.
Oh.
And it scarred my childhood.
Ideal. Nice.
I did a whole episode on it, and I talked to my sister about it, and she goes, why did they think this was okay? Because we both had nightmares.
That's really funny.
I'll have to send you the YouTube video, like, clip of the one, because if you like creepypasta, it's just like...
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
It's basically like a 90s really bad VHS version of that.
Oh my god. That gives me Blair Witch Project vibes, and that is my favorite horror movie, so...
I've never seen it.
I'm excited. Oh my god, it's so good.
I also, like, live in the woods when I go home to my parents, so that might be why.
Yeah, so maybe don't watch it for...
I can watch it now. I'm not planning to go up to Cleveland for a while, but if I was going to go up, it'd be...
So watch it now, and then immediately watch cat videos afterwards.
That is fair. Or watching puppies trying to eat bubbles.
Yes, god. I love puppies. But yeah, so this was super weird. And I was up most of the night. I posted on Facebook about it. There's a whole thread where I was like, this just happened. I was up all night. And so in the morning when I heard my dad moving around in the kitchen, I got up and I was like, hey, so whatthefuck.com. I saw a woman and it was scary. And he was like, okay, calm down. And I was like, no. And then he was like, later before we left, he was looking through, you know, you gotta snoop through people's stuff when you go to Airbnb.
Obviously. Like, isn't that the point?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like half of the reason you do Airbnb in the first place, is to snoop through people's shit. So he was doing that, and in the hallway, he found a letter addressed to the man that we rented the Airbnb from. And it was a very basic, like, thanks for buying the house, you know, we hope you like it, thanks for giving us your money, fucking whatever. And it was signed, you'll never guess what name.
I'm gonna go with Jenny.
It was signed Jenny.
Jenny!
Yes. Yes, indeed. So that was super weird. And yet, it continues. So the rest of my trip, I was freaked out still, but I didn't really experience anything else on the trip. The name Jenny was reoccurring, but that totally probably is the Saturn effect, where once you see something and you're like, now you're paying attention to it, you start to see it everywhere.
Yeah.
So I noted the name Jenny in my head, and I started to see it everywhere, so that's probably all that was. But the first 3 times it reoccurred, that was not what that was, and that was definitely super fucking weird. But that's what I've decided to call her, is her name is Jenny, because apparently it is. She named herself.
Well, I mean, she could have been the former owner who passed.
Totally. But, but that's the thing, is the feeling that I had when she was standing over me, I feel like I should go more in depth into this. It was so, like, uncomfortable for me. And it was not like, why are you watching me? Sort of uncomfortable. It was like she didn't want me there. It was very clear, like, not angry, but just, like, annoyed vibes. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Like, this is my house. Why are you in my house?
Kind of. I just feel, just move from this place in space. Like, get away from me.
Do you think it was, like, her room?
And I was like, maybe, yeah, totally. But so I went home, and, you know, I kind of started to forget about it. It wasn't super on my mind.
Wait, you don't think about the weird ghost encounter you had in Edinburgh all the time?
Well, I think about it sometimes, but, you know, I was preparing to go into college for my freshman year, so, like, I was a little busy with that.
You know, minor details. Ghost.
Yeah,
your future.
A little thing. Yeah. But so, my best friend, his mom owns a pizza place in downtown Salem. So a lot of the time that I spend with him is in the basement of that pizza place, sitting in the room. It's a storeroom, but they call it the dungeon because it used to be a vault. So it has like a huge locking door, and the inside of it looks like a dungeon.
That's not creepy at all.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. And there is a ghost in the basement. The 2 restaurants, it's sort of like merged. Saucer and Gulu Gulu, are the names of them. So Flying Saucer Pizza, Gulu Gulu. 2 very different restaurants.
Oh, the names.
But, so, we were down there, just like talking about stuff, and I'm very comfortable in that room. And it's very well known that there's a ghost in the basement of that restaurant area. They don't really have a name for him, so they just call him the Gulu Ghost. But he does stuff, like, he likes to play pranks. He'll turn off lights, he'll shut and lock doors, but he's not like a malevolent spirit. He's just kind of a goofball.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's fine. But this experience was not fine. So I'm sitting down there with Blake, and we're just talking about some bullshit. We're not even talking about anything relevant. When the lights shut off, and Blake is immediately like, "Oh, hey, Gulu Ghost, can you knock it off?" But they don't come back on. But there is an area where they are triggered by a sensor, and during the day it shouldn't be activated like that. It should just stay on. It's like on a timer thing.
Yeah.
So the sensor shouldn't, I don't know, affect that, but sometimes it's weird. So Blake got up and walked past the area where the sensor is, and the lights came back on. And yeah, a couple minutes later, the lights go back off again. And this time he gets up and he walks past the sensor, and they don't turn back on. So I kind of jokingly roll my eyes, and I go, "Jenny, can you turn the friggin' lights back on?" And guess what?
Oh my god.
Lights go back on.
So you have a ghost friend now.
Well, see, I did. And I decided that I didn't want a ghost friend because other stuff started happening. Like, I used to wake up and my bed... Alright, this is gonna sound weird as hell. My bed is in my closet. It's a crawl space, and the footprint of the crawl space is exactly the size of a twin mattress. So I shoved my twin mattress in there, and it's about, 5 feet tall on one side, and it's a slanted roof down to about 3 feet. So it's like a bed cave. It's cool as hell.
So it's not horrible. It's kind of cool.
No, it's awesome. It just sounds weird to people.
It sounds like your parents make you sleep in the closet.
Yeah, it does sound like that.
But you voluntarily went into the closet?
Yeah, no, I was like, this is tight as hell. We are putting my bed in there right now. Yeah, but so, and I hung my gay pride flag over the doorway of my closet thing because I took off the door to it because I didn't want to, like, you know, asphyxiate myself accidentally.
I'm pretty sure your parents are appreciative of you not accidentally suffocating yourself.
Well, yeah. And so, but I still like a blockade there because it gets super bright in my room because my window is east facing. So when the sun rises, it is
Right.
incredibly bright. But so I can't see the rest of my room at night. But a lot of the time I would get this weird feeling where I would either wake up and feel like this or I would just start feeling like this as I was lying in bed awake, where I would feel like there was a presence near me, watching me. And I would, every single time, it was a woman. It was like a womanly presence. And I don't know how to describe it, but like my brain would do that stupid thing where it would be like, hey, if you look outside your thing right now, there's a woman standing there.
Your monkey brain?
Just like tell me that. Yeah, my monkey brain would be like, hey, there's a woman right there. And I would just be like, what the fuck?
You're like, no thank you, monkey brain. I do not want this.
Absolutely not. But so I went to Blake again, and I was like, dude, okay, weird shit is happening. Because also, Blake happens to be a super into, like, the Wiccan. I think he identifies as being Wiccan. I don't know for sure, though. But super into, like, the witchy sort of stuff. I mean, we live in Salem, Mass, so it's kind of hard not to be, but he, like, knows things, actual things about it.
So he's educated.
So I went to him again.
He's an educated Wiccan.
Yeah. Yeah. And I went to him again, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I don't know how to cope with this. And he was like, well, we could do, I don't remember what it's called, like a scrubbing or whatever,
Yeah.
when you try to get rid of the ghosties. So we did like a weird thing with incense and like oils and shit. I sound like an anti-vaxxer mom.
We put the essential
ward off
oils
measles
on your forehead.
Yeah, essential oils, incense,
and now you
it's
won't
fine.
get polio.
Yeah, perfect. But we did a bunch of stuff with that, and all of the weirdness stopped. I haven't really felt the same presence since.
Well, that's good.
And I haven't like seen, heard anything. I haven't had any weird light things happen. And yeah, so that's my story there. I don't, and again, I really don't, I'm not like insistent that it was a ghost, and I'm not like defensive of it. I'm totally aware that it could be just a weird set of psychology events, because I mean, my mom's a psychologist. I know how weird the human brain is. And it totally could be like the time afterwards where I felt weird about it was just my brain relating back to the fact that I had a weird, mildly traumatic experience with a ghost in Edinburgh, and I was like, oh my god, I feel weird right now. I felt weird then. This must be the explanation. And then afterward, when Blake did the little scrubbing thing, my brain was like, okay, we no longer need to be worried about this. So whenever I felt weird, it didn't relate it to that. And I am totally aware that that's what it could be. It could have been a weird, like, dream thing. But the thing that, like, bothers me the most is that my girlfriend messaged me, and that's what, like, made me look over at Jenny, and she did message me in real life. Like, that happened.
Yeah, you have, like, the documentation.
There was a message on my phone. Yeah. So my phone did light up, and it was because she messaged me, and I have that message, so that wasn't part of a dream.
No.
And that's what made me roll over and look at the bedside table area in the first place, was the fact that my phone lit up.
Do you think the ghost willed the text message into existence so you would roll over and look at her?
Probably, but I really don't want to think about how long she was standing there beforehand.
She's just dancing, like doing Vogue, like doing Hit Me Baby One More Time dances in her sundress.
Yeah, oh my god. Absolutely.
Does that make it feel better? That she's just dancing over you now?
In a weird way? In a weird way, kind of. Because it was so weird when she was looking over me, and she was so, like, tense and, like, angry, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to sleep. Just a tourist. I just wanted to see your buildings.
That's okay. I freaked out my sister because she was going somewhere in the morning, and she goes, I walked past your room, and you just sat up and you were staring at me, and I was asleep.
Oh, great.
Like, eyes open, staring at her.
Oh, man. That's horrific.
And she goes, I'm going to work now. And then I just laid back down. I have no recollection of it.
I've never had an experience like that before, like, so vividly. And the dream beforehand was weird, too, because it felt like that somehow played a role in it, almost. I don't know. Mysterious.
That is very mysterious. Also, right as you finish this, like, a bunch of sirens are happening.
I just heard that through the thing, yeah, so...
Yeah,
that's freaky.
My apartment's right on the street, so, like, there's probably, it sounded like a cop car, but then it's either a train or something else just went past. I don't know. Didn't sound like a train. Who knows?
It's a herd of Jennies dancing through the streets.
Don't do that to me. I live alone. There's no one I can, like, protect myself from. So, Emily, thank you for coming on. Do you want to plug some things? Do some butt plugs?
Oh, absolutely. I want to plug my mom's podcast, obviously, because that's who I'm subbing in for. She's at Disneyland, so I have to run her business, apparently. Her podcast is Ignorance Was Bliss. It's available on Podbean and iTunes and most other places where you can find podcasts. And I'll plug my own art page because I want people to give me commissions so I can have money and stop being a broke college student.
And she's very good.
You can find me... Oh, thank you. You can find me on Facebook at Unapologetic Artist, one word, and on WordPress.com at www.unapologeticartist@wordpress.com.
Yay! So we're going to go through and thank our patrons again. We have Kate, your mom, from Ignorance Was Bliss. We have Alex from the Mall podcast, Mysteries and Urban Legends. We have Bonnie from Writing About Crime. Obscura, a true crime podcast. Erica, Carrie Gilligan, and Landshark. So thank you guys for being Patreons. I support you supporting me.
Yay!
And I'll see you guys next time with someone new. We'll have to say bye to Emily now. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody has a story, and not all of those stories are clear black and white issues, even when we think they are. We wonder, how did this happen? Or what is that like? Or what happens next? Are you sure you really want to know? This is Ignorance Was Bliss at IWB Podcast.
Hey folks, how's it going? My name is Augie, and I host a podcast called The Short Stories of Augie Peterson. Once upon a time, I had 2 blogs. Then one day, I started listening to podcasts. They seemed like a lot of fun and would combine the thing I was always afraid to share with the world, my writing, with the thing I had no choice but to share, my theater background. So I decided to combine them into a podcast for those millennials that don't have time to read 2 blogs. I read the original short horror stories I write every other Tuesday and review really terrible horror movies from Netflix, Redbox, Amazon Prime, and even the dollar store with massive amounts of snark every other Thursday. On the first Saturday of each month, I tell my listeners about 5 new indie artists that I have interviewed that I think they should know about. So if you like terrible horror movies, learning about new artists, really good horror stories, and total nerds, this is the podcast for you. Check out The Short Stories of Augie Peterson wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information, go to augiepeterson.wordpress.com. Toodaloo!
Of Domesticity. We're available on all podcatchers. Remember to rate, review, subscribe to help spread the word, or just force other people to listen to it. Our Facebook and Twitter are at Domestic Podcasts, and our Instagram is at the Cult of Domesticity. We also have podcast merch at Threadless. As well, if you want to support us financially or show some appreciation, we have a PayPal tip jar and a Patreon, which has some pretty great perks. Any topic suggestions, feel free to email us at domesticpodcast@gmail.com. Remember to stay domestic and cult-free.